Okay, so ad hoc reports. This is a very robust reporting tool that gives you the ability to pull data out of InfoNet in ways that the other reports do not. You can make your own combinations of columns and which data elements you want included in your report. You even have the ability to make nested queries using combinations of and or. This can look a little intimidating at first, but in my experience, every one of you have somebody in your office that's a data nerd. If you can find that data nerd, they're the ones you want to be working with this because it really gives you a lot more flexibility to run a report that has what you want. And once you've built that report, you can actually save it. So you can run it at any point in time and just update the dates. If I click query here and then open, I'm seeing different reports I have run in the past. I'm going to run staff community. No, I'm going to save that for, okay. New clients who experienced human trafficking is what the HT stands for. So if I open that, I have put in fields that I want my report to see. And each of these fields really represents a data table that's behind the scenes. So if I click on the client table, I can click client ID, which you can see I've selected. It's in the box. I can also select other data points within that table. Just going to go ahead and select those. I've, in this example, selected the case number and the first contact date, but if I click on the box itself, I can see all the other data points available in that table. If I want to include them, I can just add them. I'm going to leave them off for now. And then the presenting issues table, I selected human labor trafficking and human sex trafficking because this is one of the sections in InfoNet that is not included in the standard reports or any management reports. So to get this out, you will need to run an ad hoc. But you remember, those of you that were at the data entry training yesterday, when you enter the client's presenting issue, there are also a series of checkboxes to represent other forms of victimization they may have experienced. And we saw things like financial abuse, spiritual abuse, um, adult survivor of child abuse or incest. None of those data points are in any of the reports we've gone over. So this is a way to pull that data out. I've added the human trafficking types of victimization and included them in my table. And then down here, I'm going to leave everything else off because I'm really only interested in seeing that information. And then here I can filter for what information I want. And I'm using direct service date. So I only want to see this information. It says 2019, but I'm going to say, I want to see this information for all of 23 and through today, 5/31/24. And I'm going to leave this off for now. Oh, okay. So it's going to give me a count of all clients who have these human trafficking boxes checked and received a service during this roughly 1.5 year time period. So if I run it, I'm going to see all my clients. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it only pulls human trafficking because I didn't filter it. I asked it to give me all the clients I served. And it's including these two data points in my table. So I can see there's a lot of no's. Here's one yes. So I have one that experienced human sex trafficking. Here is another client. So it gives me that data. This is the only place I can get that data out. Or you can call us for assistance and we're happy to help you. So that is an ad hoc report from the client perspective. If I open a new ad hoc, you'll see there's three options here: perspective of clients, staff, and center. Client is probably going to be the most commonly used. It allows you to pull client records out of InfoNet using various types of filters and criteria. If you want to, staff perspective is more from the perspective of, I want to see which staff and services were provided to various clients or even the community. So the tables you have access to change depending on which of these you select. And now I'm going to refer back to, you know how sometimes a funder will say, I want you to report the number of new people or the number of people you served in this particular funding cycle that were not served in the last funding cycle. It doesn't necessarily mean new because maybe they were served 5 years ago and came back, but you want it to be new to that funder's grant cycle, whatever that is. You can, if you open, I'm going to open the same query I did for the human trafficking. So I'm going to just open this. And you'll see in this example, this is the kind of query you'll want to do. This is going to pull clients who did receive a service during one period. Maybe that's 1/1/23 to 12/31/23. But they also, and their direct service is not between the year before. So I'm going to say 1/1/22 to 12/31/22. So this will give me a list of clients served in 2023 and they did not receive a service in 2022. So this is a tool you can use to satisfy those kind of questions that come up from funders. And then this is a staff community services example ad hoc report I ran earlier today, just as a demonstration of an ad hoc report from the staff perspective. So in this, I used the staff first and last name. I included certain community service data points, including the comments field, because usually the comments field includes the title of the presentation. And if I know this is how my organization uses that field, I know I can get the titles of all the presentation by seeing this data point. Down here, I have filtered by the staff person I'm interested in seeing, Carrie Carter. First, last name is Carrie and last name is Carter. And when I run this report, I have a list of all Carrie's community services, and I can see what was written in the comments field for each of them. So this is fun to play around with. You could explore and just figure out different ways how to pull your data, and always feel free to ask us questions or assistance when using the ad hoc tool. We understand it's very robust and you may have questions, but once you get the hang of it and get comfortable with it, it can be a really useful tool.